Okay students, now you know the basic definition of capacitance and the expression for energy stored in the capacitance. And what was the basic definition of capacitor? It was C is equal to Q by V. Capacitance is the ratio of charge and potential. What was the SI unit of capacitance? Farad. The capacitance, is it a scalar quantity or a vector quantity? It's a scalar quantity. Then what are the three expressions for energy stored in the capacitor? It was U is equal to CV square by 2, QV by 2, Q square by 2C. This is the thing up to which that we have learned. Now we are going to learn a new derivation, or we are going to speak about the capacitance of a spherical conductor. What are we going to speak? Capacitance of a isolated spherical conductor. That is, in order to speak about the capacitance of an isolated spherical conductor, can you imagine what this is? Yes, this is our isolated charged spherical conductor. Assume that this is a conducting sphere and let's say its radius is R. The radius of the conducting sphere is R and it is having a charge accumulated uniformly over the surface. The accumulated charge over the spherical conductor is Q. Our task is to find out the capacitance of the spherical conductor. For that, what's the basic definition of capacitance? The basic definition of capacitance is capacitance was C is equal to Q by V. Then can you recall the potential due to a spherical conducting shell? That is, you might have learned potential due to a charged spherical conducting shell as 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R. That is learned in the topic before capacitance, that is potential on the surface of a spherical conductor. If it is on the surface of the spherical conductor, instead of this small r, we will have to write capital R. Or you might have learned it like this, K into Q by R. I am not sure in which expression you have learned. For our derivation purpose, we require this previous knowledge, that is, what is the potential on the surface of a charged spherical shell? It is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R. Then, if I am substituting the value of V in this equation, we can rewrite this equation as C is equal to Q by V, means by V we have to multiply the reciprocal of this. That means I could write into 4 pi epsilon 0 R divided by Q. Since V is in the denominator, we are multiplying it with the reciprocal. Then what will happen? The Q and Q will get cancelled and the expression, the ultimate expression for capacitance of a spherical conductor is 4 pi epsilon 0 R. This is the expression for capacitance of a spherical conductor. If anyone is asking you what's the basic formula of capacitance, will you give it the answer as C is equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 R? No. This is not the basic expression for capacitance. The basic expression for capacitance is C is equal to Q by V. And this is the capacitance of a spherical conductor. If it is a spherical conductor, then the capacitance of the spherical conductor is C is equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 R. Where what's R? R is the radius of the spherical conductor. And in this expression, is there Q? No. It doesn't depend upon the charge accumulated on the conductor. The capacitance is only depending upon the radius of the conductor. If you are increasing the radius of the conductor, the capacitance will also increase. Then let's have a situation where we have to calculate the radius of a spherical conductor whose capacitance is 1 farad. That is, now we are going to calculate the radius of a spherical conductor. What's given us? The capacitance of that spherical conductor is 1 farad. How can we calculate that? We could substitute it directly over here. That is, as we know, C is equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 R. If I am substituting it over here, 1 is equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 R. That means R is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0. Can you recall the value of 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0? It was taught in the first chapter. The value of 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 is 9 into 10 raised to 9. That means the radius of the spherical conductor will be 9 into 10 raised to 9, that much meter. 9 into 10 raised to 9. Is it a small value or a large value? You could understand 9 into 10 raised to 9, it's a very large value. Therefore, practically speaking, 1 farad, if you have to make a capacitor with 1 farad, it should have an enormously large size. That is, it should have a very large radius. Clear? Therefore, now we know the basic formula for capacitance is C is equal to Q by V. And if it is a spherical isolated charge conductor, the capacitance formula will be 4 pi epsilon 0 R. It's clear. Next, we are going to speak about a problematic situation, that is liquid drop combining problem. We are going to speak about liquid drop combining problem. Liquid drop combining problem. The situation is we are having identical liquid drops of charge Q and radius R. N of such identical liquid drops are combined to form a big liquid drop. We have to compare with the capacitance, charge, energy and potential of the smaller drop and larger. Let's go to that situation. For that, these are the small liquid drops which we are going to combine. All of them are identical. Let's say the charge accumulated on each of these drops are Q1. The radius of each drops, let's say it's R1. The potential of each drop is V1 and the potential energy of each drop is U1. We are having n such identical liquid drops, and we are combining all these liquid drops to form a single liquid drop. This single liquid drop, it's having a charge that is Q2. Let me say the total charge accumulated on this big large liquid drop is Q2. The radius of that liquid drop is R2, potential is V2 and potential energy is U2. Therefore, this is the big liquid drop. We have to compare with the initial and final keys. And let's formulate some expressions. For that, initially we are going to speak about the charge. You know, law of conservation of charge. Charge can neither be created nor be destroyed. Therefore, each of these drops are having a charge of Q1. Therefore, what can I say about the total charge Q2? I could say the total charge Q2 will be the sum of all the charges of n liquid drops. That means Q1 plus that much n times. That is, I could say Q2 is equal to n Q1. Can I? As you know, charge can be additive. That is, total charge of an isolated system is the sum of its individual charge. Therefore, the total charge accumulated on the larger drop will be Q2 is equal to nQ1. Is that clear? Then let's speak about capacitance. Before speaking about capacitance, let's speak about the volume of the larger liquid drop. What should be the volume of the larger liquid drop? The volume of the larger liquid drop, let me write it as volume 2. It should be equal to n times the volume of smaller liquid drop, that is n into volume 1, because we are combining these n identical liquid drops to form this big liquid drop. Therefore, the total volume of the big liquid drop, that is volume 2, is equal to n times the volume of single liquid drop. Liquid drop is spherical. Therefore, what's the volume of a sphere? Volume of a sphere is 4 by 3 pi. Since it is bigger liquid drop, R2 cube. We will have to write 4 by 3 pi R2 cube for volume 2 is equal to n is written as n itself. What's volume 1? It should be 4 by 3 pi R1 cube. Is that clear? Then you could see we could cancel this 4 by 3, 4 by 3, pi, pi. That means we'll have R2 cube is equal to n R1 cube. And if you are taking the cube root at both sides, we could write R2 is equal to, what is the cube root of n? It can be written as n raised to 1 by 3. R1's cube root, R1 cube's cube root is R1. Therefore, we are getting a relation R2 is equal to n raised to 1 by 3 R1. Is that clear? Therefore, we are having a relation with final radius and initial radius, or larger radius and smaller radius. Then, let's speak about the capacitance. For speaking about the capacitance, what is the capacitance of a spherical conductor? As we all know, the capacitance of a spherical conductor is 4 pi epsilon 0 r. We have learned it recently. Therefore, if it is capacitance of the smaller conductor, let's say the capacitance of the smaller liquid drop is C1 and the capacitance of the larger liquid drop is C2. Therefore, if it is C1 means, that is capacitance of smaller liquid drop, means we will have to take the radius of the smaller liquid drop. 4 pi epsilon 0 is retained as such. Instead of the radius of the smaller liquid drop, it is R1. Therefore, C1 is equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 R1. What C1? C1 is the capacitance of the smaller conductor. And likewise, we could write C2. What is C2? C2 should be the capacitance of the larger liquid drop. That should be 4 pi epsilon 0 R2. Clear? Then, now we know the relation between R2 and R1. The relation between R2 and R1 is R2 is equal to n raised to 1 by 3 R1. Therefore, I'm going to substitute it over here. That is, I could write 4 pi epsilon 0 instead of R2 n raised to 1 by 3 R1. Clear? Instead of R2 n raised to 1 by 3 R1. And who is this 4 pi epsilon 0 R1? If you are neglecting that n raised to 1 by 3, the remaining term is what? C1. Is that clear? Therefore, I could write C2 is equal to n raised to 1 by 3 C1. This much portion is C1, therefore n raised to 1 by 3 C1. This is another important relation that you have to understand. C2 is equal to n raised to 1 by 3 C1. Clear? Then we are going to speak about the capacitance. We have spoken about the charge and capacitance. Next we are going to speak about potential. What's the basic definition of capacitance? C is equal to Q by V is the basic definition of capacitance. That means we could write V is equal to Q by C. Can I? Therefore, V is equal to Q by C can be used. Instead of V, if I am putting V1, what's V1? V1 is the potential of the smaller drop. If we are taking V1, it should be Q1 by C1. Clear? Potential of the smaller drop should be Q1 by C1. Then, likewise, I could write V2. What's V2? V2 should be Q2 by C2. Is that clear? V2 should be the ratio of charge of larger sphere divided by capacitance of the larger sphere, Q2 by C2. Then let's substitute for Q2. What is Q2? I could substitute Q2 as NQ1. Therefore, instead of Q2, I am substituting NQ1. Clear? Q2 is equal to NQ1 divided by what is C2? C2 can be written as C2 is equal to n raised to 1 by 3 C1. Therefore, n raised to 1 by 3 C1. Then look at this. What is this? Q1 by C1. Q1 by C1 is V1. What's n divided by n raised to 1 by 3? N divided by n raised to 1 by 3 is n raised to 1 minus 1 by 3. N raised to 1 minus 1 by 3 means n raised to 2 by 3. N raised to 2 by 3. Q1 by C1 is V1. Clear? Therefore, we are getting a relation with potential as V2 is equal to n raised to 2 by 3 V1. Is that clear?